Have you heard? Health experts are closely monitoring a new strain of COVID-19 called the Mu variant. And reports are that this strain is already in the Caribbean. We want you to continue to keep yourselves and your families safe. So on this No Movement Day, if you're not a part of the essential services or not heading to a vaccination site, stay home. Let's play our part to get the coronavirus pandemic under control.
The following is brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
When your turn comes for the vaccine, please take the vaccine. It is absolutely important. For those who have hesitancy and fear, and all of that is legitimate, it's healthy. But I believe we have seen the vaccine at work. We know what the risks are. There are no riskless activities in life. We urge you to participate in the national program and get vaccinated.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 13, 2021. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government is not currently considering making COVID-19 vaccination mandatory. He gave that confirmation during a recent vaccination mobilization and public education campaign tour. The Prime Minister says that before any such consideration can be given, the government must demonstrate that an effective public education campaign was undertaken.
The current health situation does give strong justification that we should give a directive for vaccination to be taken. But our Constitution and the spirit of our Constitution and our laws also require us to have a period of public education where the citizen is engaged, so that we are not just jumping over the rights of the people, right, without them being properly informed as to why it is being done.
Mr. Holness says he's optimistic that the public education program will encourage more Jamaicans to not only take the vaccine, but also join the vaccination campaign. The government's target is to administer 700,000 doses of vaccines by the end of September and have 65% of the Jamaican population vaccinated by March 2022. Up to Friday, Jamaica had administered over 613,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines. To get vaccinated, persons are asked to visit a vaccination site, details of which are available at vaccination.moh.gov.jm. In other COVID-related news, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is collaborating with the private sector and other partners to establish additional field hospitals. The most recent addition is at the University Hospital of the West Indies, where ground has been broken and work started for a 60-bed facility.
I want to recognize Mr. Gary Allen of the RGR Gleaner Group for helping to coordinate this effort and working, of course, with the team at the University of the West Indies.
The Health Minister gave the update during his ministry's press conference on September 9.
The work has started also at Sub Lamar Hospital to add 40 beds, and in Maypen Hospital similarly so, with Falmouth, St. Joseph's and Spanish Town remaining operational. So there is additional capacity that is being built out, and that will ease some of the burden.
To further support government's response to the pandemic, Dr. Tufton says a genome sequencing machine to test for new COVID-19 variants is expected to arrive in the island over the next 2 to 3 weeks. This will allow local health authorities to test for variant strains without having to send samples to locations overseas. In other news, the Caribbean Examinations Council says the 2021 CXC results will be released in early to mid-October. CXC says it is working hard to minimize the impact of delays caused by the pandemic and the disruptions to the Council's logistical operations associated with the marking, grading, and release of examination results. The release of results will be a 3-tiered approach. Results will first be released to each country's Ministry of Education, followed by a joint meeting with the ministries before it is communicated to candidates on or before October 15. CXC says its team is in contact with regional and international higher education institutions to communicate the timing of the release to minimize the possibility of students being disadvantaged through the matriculation process. The Ministry of Education is targeting January 2022 to begin the implementation of character education in schools. Portfolio Minister Favour Williams says character education will enhance the academic performance of Jamaican students. She says it will teach them a sense of diligence, how to focus on their studies, how to strive to do well, and how to interact properly with their teachers and other students in and out of the classroom.
We will be teaching them about their rights and duties as citizens, what it means to be a Jamaican. We want to teach them about a culture of peace. We want to educate them on tolerance and social partnerships.
The minister says underpinning character education will be the launch of a sustained multi-year good parenting campaign. Among other things, this campaign will help parents eliminate corporal punishment in the home and public spaces. And finally, the National Works Agency NWA is advising essential workers and other motorists that corrective works continues along sections of the Mandela Highway on the no movement days. The work, which began yesterday, continues today and tomorrow, September 14, up until 4 p.m. Manager of Communication and Customer Service at the NWA, Stephen Shaw, says motorists using the area should expect a significant reduction in available lanes. China Harbour Engineering Company, CHEC, is carrying out the roadworks. It involves removing uneven pavement on the approaches to the Fresh River Bridge, the Overpass Bridge, and the box culverts to expose the road base and add more base material in the targeted areas to improve the overall driving surface. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Jamaica's COVID-19 vaccination plan is still in effect. If you wish to make an appointment, please do so online by visiting moh.gov.jm or by calling 888-663-5683. Vaccination still a keep. Go get your jab today.
It was Albert Einstein who once said, "Scientists investigate that which already is. Engineers create that which has never been." As we celebrate Engineers Week, we look at some young innovators who wish to revolutionize the agriculture sector.
I'm studying general agriculture. I want to be a veterinarian.
Bioengineer. I want to manage my own agricultural business.
They are the future of the agriculture sector and are working towards making a significant impact.
You have certain crops in Jamaica that are being depleted. I would like to re-engineer those crops and bring them back into the world. I'm planning to do something similar to this, or if I can fine-tune the same thing and rename it into a brand that I can offer to the economy, I want to do this.
This is the KISA model, a project that highlights an approach that can be taken by farmers to treat recycled water on their farms to irrigate field crops.
The main purpose of this layout right here is to have an environment where we try to have less economic problems, try to build up a system that is economically and environmentally friendly.
The idea and design came out of a need to implement such a system on the grounds of their Hanover-based agricultural school. The Nakalva students also believe that the KISA model will be able to sustain farmers through periods of low rainfall and drought. Here is how it will work. Say you are a pig farmer. Each time you wash the pig pen, that water can be channeled to various treatment points. The water, along with the waste substance, would then pass through a biodigester, allowing you to produce your own energy for your farm as well as manure.
In the biogas digester, anaerobic bacteria breaks down or digests the material and releases a gas known as methane gas. This methane gas is then sent to the control station where our generator converts this gas into energy and is used up on the farm on a day-to-day basis. So after the biogas digester, the solid part of the material is sent to the drying bed. In the drying bed, it is left open where it can be dried completely. After it is dried, The material is then used back in our outfield and our greenhouse as organic material or manure.
Following that is the water treatment process. The liquid from the drying pond is sent to the anaerobic pond, which is the first stage of treatment.
In this pond, there's a substance known as BOD. BOD is biological chemical oxygen demand. This is the amount of oxygen that bacteria requires to break down organic matter. It is reduced by 85% in the anaerobic pond, and in the second pond, which is the facultative pond, it is reduced by 95%. In the facultative pond, algae is present to add additional oxygen to the water by photosynthesis. And doing this, the algae also removes nitrates and phosphate, therefore purifying the water a little further.
From here, water moves to maturation ponds 1 and 2. This process is to move coliform bacteria.
Anaerobic respiration occurs at the bottom of the pond. The main purpose is to reduce pathogens like bacteria, viruses, E. coli, and no chlorine. Then it will travel in a channel to storage pond, where the water stays there.
This storage pond will also facilitate rainwater harvesting.
This harvested water is used to lower the pH of the water stored in the storage pond, and it is also used to spread out the level of pathogen in the water. This is done because there is a recommended level of pathogen per liter in the water, and doing this will reduce the amount of concentration of pathogen in that specific liter. After the treatment of the water, it is then sent to the control station where the generator and pump is activated, and it is dispersed into our outfields and in our greenhouse irrigation system.
So I believe that this is one of the best ideas that all Jamaican farmers should partake in. Not only that it is very beneficial to our economy, it is also beneficial to your pockets. To get this started, it is not really an easy process, but over a period of time you'll realize that because you are creating your own energy, you don't have to go ahead and buy water, because you're the one recycling your water, you're the one harvesting your water, you're the one treating it, so you don't have to pay to do all of those processes.
It is this application of technology and innovation within the agriculture sector that is being promoted by Portfolio Minister Karl Samuda.
We have to become technology savvy, and we have to introduce it at all elements of agriculture, because that's the only way that we are going to be on the cutting edge of competition.
And the Minister Samuda is encouraging young people to be part of this transformation by choosing areas of agriculture as careers.
The future of Jamaica's agriculture must rely on the wisdom of the old, but the energy of the young. They are the ones who are going to carry this process forward.
It's the 11th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Students, show your national pride by entering the essay, poster and photo competition. Primary school students, enter the essay competition. Triumphant, proud and free. Use this phrase from the song Jamaica Land of Beauty to explain our nation's heritage and achievements. High school students, design a poster that best portrays the phrase triumphant, proud and free. And university students, capture a photo that depicts the phrase triumphant, proud and free. Submit your entries by October 31. Visit jis.gov.jm for competition guidelines. Triumphant, proud and free, the JIS Heritage Competition 2021.
We're also observing Maritime Week over the next 7 days. Watch as I share how integral the seas are to our country. The seas call them home, home, where the northeast trade winds dance through the sounds of reggae, where the cockpit country shadows the world's fastest man, the vanguard of the Caribbean. The seas call them home, home to Jamaica. Jamaica is the third largest island in the Caribbean and the largest English-speaking island state, with the seventh largest natural harbour in the world, essential for a robust shipping industry. Jamaica also has the second largest transshipment hub in the Caribbean. These developments are driven by a commitment to honour the international maritime conventions that Jamaica has signed, establishing a maturing partnership with the International Maritime Organization (IMO). This 40-year partnership brings consistent advocacy for the maritime interests of Jamaica, the Caribbean and the small island developing states and the least developed countries. The seas carry them on, shaping an expansive and progressive maritime vision, fueling a structure and infrastructure of container, cruise and bulk cargo ports, maritime administration and ship registration, maritime education and training. This vision led to the expansion and upgrading of port facilities island-wide to capitalize on additional trade and larger ships accessing services through the newly expanded Panama Canal. The expansion positions Kingston as one of the region's major ports. The Port of Kingston is also equipped to offer a range of maritime logistical services, for example, operating as the regional hub for vehicles delivered to 23 destinations in Central America and the Caribbean. Through German Ship Repair Services Jamaica, the island also offers wet dock repair services and plans full ship repairs with a floating dry dock. Jamaica's commitment to a greener maritime environment guides its fuel diversification with the use of clean fuels, including natural gas. The prevention of maritime pollution is also integral in policy initiatives. As part of this thrust, Jamaica is now acceded to the Ballast Water Management Convention 2004 and is also the lead partnering country in the IMO's Global Ballast Partnerships Program. Bunkering is another key element of Jamaica's position as a major shipping center. We supply bunkers not only for vessels calling at Jamaican ports, including cruise ships, but also for those transiting across the wider Caribbean. Falmouth, Montego Bay, Ocho Rios, Port Antonio and Kingston, 5 cruise shipping ports, with the Falmouth Pier being purpose-built for the largest cruise ships in the world. These major cruise ports offer a full range of cruise passenger facilities and services. Awarded the world's leading cruise destination, Jamaica's unique attractions, diverse tourism and numerous recreational and cultural activities are equal sources of attraction for the creme de la creme of the seas, Royal Caribbean's Harmony of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship and other major cruise lines. The seas sends them out. Seafarers and shipping staff trained in Jamaica for international service are key to Jamaica's success as a maritime state. The Caribbean Maritime University, CMU, is the sole IMO-recognized maritime training institution in the English-speaking Caribbean for the training of officers. The CMU is now poised to satisfy the region's demands in the expanding maritime and logistics sectors with the opening of 5 satellite campuses. Through partnership with the Technical Cooperation Division of the IMO, Jamaica helps countries in the region meet their obligations under the International Convention on Standards of Training, Certification and Watchkeeping for Seafarers. Jamaica has also chaired for 10 years at the IMO, the organ responsible for the international rules for standards of training for seafarers. Jamaica is committed to reducing substandard shipping in the Caribbean. To meet this objective, the island has hosted the Secretariat of the Caribbean Memorandum of Understanding on Port State Control, CMOU, since 2004. In addition, Jamaica is host to the International Seabed Authority. 25 states now have permanent missions to support the regulation and control of all mineral-related activities of the authority. Partnering with the IMO Program of Integration for Women in the Maritime Sector, Jamaica has helped to mobilize maritime women in the region and strengthened their contribution to the safety, security and environmental protection of the maritime industry. Jamaica has also hosted the inaugural Regional Women in Maritime Association WEMAC conference. Its executive is led by a cohort of strong female leaders, including its first president, a Jamaican. The seas carry them through. Jamaica's long-standing advantages, highly developed shipping expertise, and a skilled and educated workforce has seen our maritime sector blossom into an invaluable resource for the Caribbean and the region. A maritime state, a maritime home, bridging the IMO with the Caribbean and the Americas.
Let's get together and feel alright.
Nutritious food, succulent dishes, superior workmanship, and excellent service. Jamaica is on the go. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Let's harness the indomitable spirit of our most valued resource, our people. Let's support our local businesses. After all, buying Jamaican means building Jamaica.
As of September 1, more than 730,000 trees have been distributed and planted under the National Tree Planting Initiative. This means that the island is well on the way of meeting its goal of planting 3 million trees over 3 years. If you want to get on board, watch this next feature to see how to successfully plant a life source of your own.
Trees are often considered the lungs of the earth. As part of their life cycle, they take in carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere. Let's all continue this necessary part of keeping our planet healthy by planting more trees. And here's how you do it. First things first, decide what tree you will be planting. Is it one that will provide timber? Shade? Will it beautify your space or will you be eating its fruits? Once that's settled, you need to consider what kind of conditions it would need to grow. Naturally, some plants do better in some areas than others, while others need full exposure to sunlight versus those that can survive without direct light. And there's also the soil type to consider. Some trees thrive near seasides. Others prefer mountain areas, while certain trees are content in the valleys. Next up, space. Some trees grow wide, others tall. While you may be able to prune trees to keep them under control, some lose their essence when tamed. So, be sure to plant large trees in areas where they will have adequate space to grow. If you have a smaller space, consider growing a smaller tree that requires less pruning to keep it in check. Then there's the matter of your fully grown tree posing a threat to nearby structures. As a country situated in the hurricane belt, downed trees during times of disaster is a part of our reality. There's also the pesky issue of trees which shed their leaves profusely, and others with copious amounts of flowers and fruits, which might just be the cause of a dispute with your neighbor if planted near the fence. That being said, be sure to plant trees at a safe distance from walls, power lines, fences, sidewalks, and the very foundation of your house. Once you've considered all those tips, it's time to plant.
First step is to dig a hole, right? Not too deep, about a foot and a half, not too wide either, because you're not burying the plants. You're trying to provide a nice area for it to grow. Right? Upon digging your hole, if you notice that the soil type is clay, that is the kind of coarse soil type, you probably need topsoil, right? Because when you're putting back the soil, it's going to be a challenge for you. But after that, you dampen the soil, ensure that it's moist, provide a moist area or environment for the plant to be planted in. Ensure the plant is in the center of the hole. If you dig the hole a bit too deep, there's a process known as backfilling, right? That's when you put back the dirt into the soil to a certain height that is much favorable for you and for the plant. After you do that, you want to dampen the soil, right? Ensure the plant is in the center, because you end up having a plant to grow lean or to the side, because plants grow into the direction of the sunlight. Ensure that the soil goes up to the root collar. Now the root collar is where the stem and the root of the plant or the root plug meet, right? You don't want to go above that. Once you do finish that, you water it, then you stake it. When I say stake, you take either a bamboo stake or a regular stake, put a flagging tape beside onto it and put it beside the plant. That is you marking the plant. So once you're doing any maintenance, you yourself or any other individual in the area can know that, hey, there's something planted there, so you don't end up wasting your effort and time when planting. The most important thing is watering after and nurturing the plants. So you water early mornings and late evenings. If you water in between those times, especially in the afternoons, the plant will end up struggling with the intake of the water, right? Because the sun is going to be evaporating at the same time it's trying to take in the nutrients. You can also mulch, fertilize, or add kaya dust or sawdust to the mound to help lock in moisture for the plant.
And there you have it, a step-by-step demonstration of how to plant a tree. Call 876-618-3205 or visit 173 Constant Spring Road to get your plant seedlings. Happy planting!
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
That's all the time we have here on this station. Keep the lines of communication open. Email us, Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Join us on all the major social media platforms. Visit our website and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Catch up with us while on the go by downloading our mobile app. We are here for you. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.